Hey you nerds, welcome to the Nerditorium. Today, let's get right into it because we are talking about action star Charlize Theron.
Nice.
Tell me, Tejas.
As I wanted to do this episode without mispronouncing her name, I googled how to pronounce Charlize Theron, and lo and behold, it was Charlize Theron teaching you how to explain, like how to pronounce her name, and it was quite cool.
Ooh, what is the correct pronunciation?
It's Charlize Theron, I believe. The way we've been saying it
So
this
pretty
entire
much how we've
episode
been
so
saying
far.
it. Okay, is it not Charlize Theron?
No. So
That's what,
she does say that also.
give it a bit of-
It's not Charlize Theron, Charlize Theron. It's Charlize Theron.
I see.
Charlize Theron. But that's-
Charlize Theron.
Yeah, her explaining it demonstrate how cool she is. She's super chill, and the interesting thing about her career is that most people who have kind of fallen into a category of like late stage kind of action star like a Liam Neeson, etc. She is someone who has done all genres of film and done multiple like stylistically different films and has managed to create an action persona within that stretch of films. And I think that's just amazing. Like she can do like say a Seth Rogen long shot like rom-com kind of film and immediately then go and do something like Old Guard. And
It could also be called Long Shot.
also true. And we've been taking note of this, and this is an episode that has been a long time coming. We've always wanted to speak about Charlize Theron, action star, especially after films like Atomic Blonde released and kind of fell under the radar. You think? I don't know. Is that just me?
It's slightly under the radar, I would say, slightly underrated. I'm not entirely sure why, because it was a very good film. Possibly because it was kind of that, it didn't have the breakout success that, say, a John Wick did. Maybe because there was a bit more of a spy thriller intrigue plot to it than John Wick,
definitely.
which was basically
some
just like
Cold War
punch 'em up.
espionage. Which
It's
is
like
interesting to note.
Didn't it give you this very like Mission Impossible 1 feel where it was like, I'm not entirely sure what's going on with this plot, but I'm on board for this. I'm on this train.
I actually remember the film quite well. It's this Cold War, espionage kind of thriller. James McAvoy is there in it. I can't remember. Eddie Marsden is that his name? He's there in the film. And it's
John Goodman is in it.
It's directed by or the action was directed by the same guy who did the John Wick stuff. So it seems strange that they would
he directed
completely
the film
differently.
itself also, I believe.
You're right. I think the first one, if I'm not mistaken. So man, I'm surprised that it didn't do as well, but we picked up on it and we thoroughly enjoyed it. And we just have to kind of talk about how Charlize is doing such an incredible job of being the action star of our generation. Like she's really kind of, I'd say her and Keanu Reeves, but enough has been said about Keanu Reeves. I just think that she's doing an exemplary job because she is an Oscar winner. You forget. She has acting chops up the wazoo. Yeah. So she can really deliver on all accounts and she can go and kick ass, which I think is unique right now, and that's why we're talking about her.
And it's a very conscious turn that she's taken, right? Like some other actors have, like a Liam Neeson or a Denzel Washington or a Keanu Reeves. They've said, I'm going to be an action star now. I can do this. Even Tom Cruise, for that matter, right? Basically went from doing all sorts of movies to saying, now I'm going to just run and do Mission Impossible films for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I do like Tom Cruise. I will say that I think Tom Cruise has done, like, if you check out his filmography, like he's done a bunch of weird films like across his career.
Exactly.
Even
but
Keanu Reeves,
late.
I think. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right now he's focusing on being a producer and working on the Mission Impossible franchise. Currently trying to go to space. Yeah.
It's this typical career move. I guess like it's a strange choice, I suppose, in some ways, but respected actors decide in the late stage of their careers, now I'm just going to do punch 'em ups, and they go ahead and do it. Charlize might be the only female action star that I can think of though who made the same choice.
There are a couple of other actors like actresses, I'd say, who have the potential to be like a Charlize. Like I think like Zoe Saldana has done a great job in like the last I'd say the last 5 years. She's like become like the sci-fi queen, like she's done all she's in Avatar, she's in obviously Guardians of the Galaxy. She's in Star Trek. So she's done like a bunch of really good roles. Another person who I think has the potential to be a kick-ass action star and has done some great action in the last few years is Rebecca Ferguson, who is in the Mission Impossible franchise. She's also excellent. And I think like what's really great about all of these at least these female stars kind of leading the way in action is that something that we have not seen in the male stars is that they kind of make it way more realistic than say Jason Statham or The Rock. I mean, we've kind of seen all those articles about how these guys have it in their contracts.
Number of punches they land.
Yeah, exactly. Where this Vin Diesel type is just like, and I'm not shitting on these guys. I mean, that's what their brand is. That's fine. But there's something more realistic and awesome about Charlize and Keanu Reeves also, I'd say, taking a beating as much as they give one in these films and like really make it visceral and I think it's got to do with that brand of action, but it's also about the kind of people that they are. Keanu Reeves kind of specifically said in John Wick 3 when he was facing these two kind of amazingly these really famous kind of action stars and martial artists from a lot of Asian films, when they came on set and they're these incredible stuntmen and everything, he was just like, in the script it was supposed to be where John Wick kind of beats their ass ultimately and wins, but he said, dude, how can I do that? That seems unfair because these guys have put in the effort for so many years. I'm just a star and I'm just going to kick their ass. It doesn't make any sense. So that fight in the movie reaches a stalemate, which is really insane because that's the amount of respect he gives the craft and the and everything like that. And I think Charlize is also in that that brand of like action star where you can see your hero get their ass kicked, but also kind of then dish out a beating, which is great also to watch.
I think it also gives her movies a very different quality from the typical action movie, which is they're not just superhero movies but with a different kind of superpower. There's this like visceral like you can feel the bone break when she gets punched. You know what I mean? Like it feels more real. Like in Atomic Blonde again, there's that whole stairwell scene where she's so good. Brutalized, man. And when she walks out and goes onto the street and continues with the rest of the sequence after that, she's limping and her face is all bruised up. You can see the effects of what's happened, and that just makes it feel a lot more, not just realistic, but I think kind of impactful. You can, they kind of follow that template for the whole movie. So personality-wise, what Keanu did, for example, is a really great gesture, and that's the person he is. And I think Charlize is probably coming from the same place, but also her movies in general and the kind of movies she chooses, I think, use action in a very different way from how, say, Liam Neeson does. In that movie where his daughter was taken too.
Technically he is taken too, if you remember correctly. That's and his daughter is the one who kind of helps him out. Liam Neeson is for me, it's it's a cash cow, man. For him, he's turned into this I think it's all about his voice.
He enjoys it now.
Yeah, he enjoys it. He's done. Yeah. So Abhimanyu and I talk about how he's the transportation action star. And by that I mean that he's done an action movie in every form of transportation. It's weird. He's done one called Run All Night, so that's the pedestrian one. Then he's done one called The Commuter, which is him on a train. Then he's done one on a plane, which is called Unknown, or I think it's called, I can't remember. I think it's called Unknown. But there are some ludicrous kind of action films that he's done. But whatever, he owns it. I think Charlize and Keanu are a different brand.
Except
and I think
the Transporter, I will say.
Yeah, that's Jason Statham and then a new guy who kind of took over the franchise. But man, for Charlize, I think it's a different brand. And I think what's happened is she's kind of leading the way also for a lot more female action stars. And I think what's really interesting to note is also how in the 80s you'd have a Sigourney Weaver or Jamie Lee Curtis or something play this kind of victimized action hero, whether it's survivor action, whether it's Alien or or Linda Hamilton, say in Terminator. But they've kind of
the first.
Yeah, exactly. And then they've kind of evolved that role so much more now that there's this new wave where Jamie Lee Curtis came back for the Halloween franchise. Halloween. Was it Halloween? Yeah, it was Halloween. And she kicks ass in that also as a rockin' grandma. Basically, she's crushing it like using shotguns, killing people. And then we saw Linda Hamilton recently again in Terminator Dark Fate, kind of revisit that role as a completely, like, even more badass. I mean, she kind of split the difference in Terminator 2, but I think we're seeing that kind of, phase a little bit more. And it's awesome, man. I'm into it. Like, it's cool. Charlize Theron. My bad. Just started with an explanation on how to say it.
Charlize Theron, action star, is setting the trend. I think it's also lent itself to movies that are much better, cinematically speaking, than say Liam Neeson's filmography of late. These movies are fine, but they're following a template where it's just like straight up action. Here's a bunch of punchings and shootings. Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
Whereas Charlize has made movies that are legit. Like Mad Max is still one of the best movies we've seen in the last decade, really. And Atomic Blonde is an underrated gem. Then there's Aeon Flux. Let's move past that. But her movies tend to be a little more respected in general, I would say.
So, on that note, do you want to rank Charlize's top 4?
Cool. Are we going 4, 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3, 4?
Let's do a 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. I would say at 4, Old Guard.
I'd say Aeon Flux, but alright. Okay. And I would put 3 as Old Guard, the Old Guard.
Are there only 4? I feel like there should be more.
Oh no, I just said top 4 because that's the thing that we do here at Geek Fruit.
Correct. So is there nothing that is lower than Aeon Flux?
I don't think so.
Hancock an action role? She literally plays a superhero there.
She does. I would put Hancock above Aeon Flux, and she does have a little bit of action in that as compared to Will Smith. But yeah, so I'd say okay, cool.
Exactly.
Let's throw Hancock
Old Guard
in there.
at 4, Hancock at 3.
No, I would say Old Guard at 3, Hancock at 4. And also, are we considering Fast and Furious? Because she's in that as well.
I forgot. Right. Okay. So that's at 18 because it sucks. I think. I don't know.
I think that's also the number of Fast and Furious films that are out right now. But anyway.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm on board so far. Hancock at 4.
Yes.
Old Guard at 3.
Yes.
Now.
This is the toughest one.
Atomic Blonde at number 2.
I would say I would put Atomic Blonde at 2. But yeah, just a close to, because I think that's more of a role that is central to her. Like that movie's about her.
That's
and
true.
Fury Road, even though it's a titular character almost, and she steals the show really from Tom Hardy. But I think that is that movie is more about the environment, everything else, and of course she's amazing in it. But I'd say the movie is so good that it has to be number 1. So a good action movie is something that can have all the elements. So yeah, let's go with Fury Road as 1.
I didn't think she was the titular role, but you're right. It's Mad Max Furiosa Road in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Which is why the next movie is a prequel about Furiosa's character.
And unfortunately, Charlize is not involved in the project, so that's a shame.
It's a young gun apparently, but I mean, again, that's something Charlize has done, man. She paved the way. She paved the Fury Road for these young actors.
She paved the Fury Road. Nice. Cool.
Well, that's us talking about Charlize. Tell us, why don't you disagree with our rankings in the comments, and we will fight you.
We'll ban
like
you.
Charlize does, and get beaten up like Charlize does with you in the comments. This has been the Nerditorium. See ya, you nerds.